Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel where we continue to learn Russian. And today we are going to talk about the different states of the weather, and we will learn some basic phrases and vocabulary that will help us to describe the weather. In Russia, and I will talk mostly about St. Petersburg because I was born there and also because it's very difficult to talk about all Russia. It's pretty large in size and it has a variety of climates. So in Russia there are 4 seasons and they're all pretty distinct. That means that flora and fauna change and the weather is different and pretty defined. In Russia, we really like to talk about the weather, to discuss it, sometimes to complain when it's driving us crazy. And also the weather is a part of our small talk. We usually talk about the weather with our friends, with our neighbors, with colleagues, anytime and everywhere. So the weather is an important part of our daily conversation. But how to talk about the weather in Russian? By the end of this lesson, you will know how we usually describe the weather and learn some basic phrases. If you're interested in learning Russian, please subscribe to my channel and press the notification button so that you will not miss my next videos. Are you ready? Let's begin! Now let's talk about some vocabulary to help us to talk about the weather. And the first word I want to start with is погода. That means the weather. Погода. There are 3 syllables in this word, and the second one is stressed. Погода. And the important note here that the first letter O, we will pronounce it as A, because it's not stressed. So it will sound as погода. And let's talk about the weather today. Today is сегодня. Сегодня. There are also 3 syllables in this word, and the second one is stressed. And here the main thing is that the letter G, we pronounce it as V. So it will become as сегодня. It's because this is a historical or kind of traditional pronunciation. It comes from the early times and it's still used in our language, but only in speaking part, not in writing parts. If we are talking about the weather that was yesterday, we will say вчера. Вчера. There are 2 syllables in this word, and the last one has stress. Вчера. And here in this word, the sound V will pronounce as its voiceless counterpart sound F. So it becomes вчера. Вчера. And tomorrow in Russian language sounds завтра. Завтра. There are 2 syllables in this word and the stress is on the first letter A. Завтра. And here in this word, the letter V or the sound V in the middle of this word is also pronounced as F. So it becomes завтра. Now let's check how to put all that we've learned into a sentence and how to ask the question about the weather. In Russian, we have kind of pattern for such type of questions. And it's similar to the English question, what is the weather like today? And let's check the English questions for the past, for the present, and for the future situations. What was the weather like yesterday? What is the weather like today? And what will the weather be like tomorrow? When we form such kind of questions in English, we usually use the verb to be. Was, is, and will be. In Russian language, the verb to be is быть. And it's usually used when we are talking about situations in the past or in the future. But when we are talking about situations that happen right now or in the present, usually the verb to be is omitted, as in here in this kind of phrase. Какая погода сегодня? In this question, I'm asking about the weather almost right now or today. So actually, it's in present tense and here I don't need any verb. Let's try to pronounce it one more time and please try to follow my intonation. Какая погода сегодня? Какая погода сегодня? Okay, great. Now I'm curious about yesterday, about the past, and I will ask you, какая погода была вчера? Какая погода была вчера? And here in this question, our verb to be is a period and it's in the past tense. And if I'm asking about the future, about tomorrow, I will say, какая погода будет завтра? Какая погода будет завтра? And here's one more question I want to give you. Какая у вас погода сегодня? Какая у вас погода сегодня? That means, what's your weather like today? I'm always wondering what the weather is like in different parts of the world. So, could you please write me the weather in your city in the comments below this video after you will finish to watch it? But don't worry, later I will tell you how you should answer these type of questions about the weather. Actually, I will do it right away. The simplest way is to follow the English pattern it's called. So the be verb and plus the adjective. But in Russian language, we do not use the adjectives in this case. We will use the noun or the adverb. First, we will see how we can use a noun. Sometimes we just use a noun to answer the weather questions and make it simple. But of course, the noun should be related to the weather. For example, the noun снег. That means snow. Notice how I pronounce the last sound. G. I pronounce it as K. Снег. And let's try to answer the questions. Какая погода сегодня? Сегодня снег. Какая погода сегодня? Сегодня снег. Какая погода была вчера? Вчера был снег. Какая погода была вчера? Вчера был снег. Какая погода будет завтра? Завтра будет снег. Какая погода будет завтра? Завтра будет снег. And it's typical weather in Russia in winter. Now let's check the other words we can use when we're talking about the weather. And the first word is дождь. That means rain. Дождь. Notice how I pronounce some sounds. For example, this sound j in this word I pronounce as sh. And d I pronounce it as t. Дождь. It's also a very typical weather in St. Petersburg. It rains very often in there. Гроза. Гроза. That means a thunderstorm. And many people really don't like a thunderstorm. Мороз. Мороз. That means frost. And метель. Метель. That is blizzard. And жара. Жара. And if to translate that in English, this is heat. Heat. Sometimes we add the adjective сильный to emphasize, for example, that there was a heavy rain yesterday. Вчера был сильный дождь. One more way how to answer the weather questions is to use the adverbs related to the weather conditions. And we speak like that very frequently because it's easy and it's very informative at the same time. For example, let's choose the adverb холодно. That means it's cold. Холодно. Notice how we pronounce this word. There are 3 letters O, and only the first one I pronounce as a real O sound. The other 2 letters I pronounce them as A. Холодно. And let's try to answer the questions. Какая погода сегодня? Сегодня холодно. Какая погода сегодня? Сегодня холодно. Какая погода была вчера? Вчера было холодно. Какая погода была вчера. Вчера было холодно. Какая погода будет завтра? Завтра будет холодно. Какая погода будет завтра? Завтра будет холодно. Now let's check some other vocabulary we can use when talk about the weather. Морозно. It's frosty. Морозно. Прохладно. It's cool. Прохладно. Тепло. It's warm. Тепло. Жарко. It's hot. Жарко. Ветрено. It's windy. Ветрено. Солнечно. It's sunny. Солнечно. Облачно. It's cloudy. Облачно. So that's it for today's lesson, and today we learned some vocabulary that can be used to describe the weather, and we learned how to ask the questions about the weather and how to answer them. And please write me about the weather in your city in the comments below. I hope this video was helpful for you, and if you liked it, please subscribe to my channel and press the notification button so that you will know when will be my next video. See you. Bye bye.